All right. Crossroads Sports, breaking news. Man, news that we thought would happen today ended up happening. And, we thought it would happen at some point. It needed to happen after the fiasco that we've seen with Anthony Richardson over the last, year or so. What he's played and what he hasn't played. But no, news today comes out literally maybe a half hour ago. Adam Schefter, Colts have decided to bench Anthony Richardson. They're going to start Joe Flacco this coming Sunday. Sunday night, they're playing up in Minnesota. This comes off the heels of Anthony Richardson tapping out himself on Sunday. Never seen it before watching the NFL. Never seen Anthony, a quarterback at all, just say, hey, I need a quick blow. I need a blow, regardless. And I've had some people come and say, hey, you know what? Maybe he's just tired, man. He had a 300 pound on. You don't do that as a quarterback, right? You know that you're the leader of the team. There's other people that are tired as well. You don't see them come here, tap their head, try to get themselves out of the game. You're the leader. You need to look like the leader out there. Do I think that had a lot to do with why he's being benched? I don't. I think it has a little. But just for him, hey, sit, learn, develop. He was kind of given the keys to the car before we knew he was even ready, right? Do we know he was really ready for that position? So, and he wasn't. Sit behind Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco, serviceable quarterback we've talked about over the years. His days in Baltimore, for what he did in Cleveland. He was in the Jets for a little bit. But no, Anthony Richardson, I think it's also the piss poor play that he's done over the last year. This season, he's got 4 touchdowns or so for this season. Give me a second here. I'm going to bring up his stats while we're looking at it. Yeah, this year, 4 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Colts are 500. Not ideal. He threw for 212 yards, 2 touchdowns this past Sunday against the Texans. But let's remember, there was like a big, huge, long touchdown pass to Josh Downs that kind of tears that apart a little bit from his stats. But Richardson out, Flacco the starter. The Colts offense looks a hell of a lot better with Flacco. Richardson maybe just needs to sit and develop, sit and learn underneath somebody else. Do I think it's the end of him? I don't. I don't think it's the end of him just yet. I think they're still going to give him another shot. Remember, this is only year 2, and really this is what, 10 games total between 10, 11 games between last season and this season for Richardson. The dude was given the keys to Ferrari a little too soon. He tapped himself out. Do I think he lost the locker room with the tap out thing? I don't think so. But it can get worse. Looking on the coach side, Steichen. I don't think the hot seat's there just yet for Steichen, but he needed to make a move. He needed to make some changes, and he did with this move here. Chris Ballard, hot seat's big. Hot seat's back. This is your guy. You went out and drafted this guy, saying this is our guy, this is our quarterback, and it's got to show, right? And you've had failure after failure after failure. This is year 7, year 8 now in the regime. No division titles. You've been swept by the Houston Texans now for 2 years straight. It's not looking good for Ballard, and this is your guy. So Ballard's just trying to survive the rest of this season. And now you're getting to this brutal stretch and there's Deontay Johnson traded from Carolina to Baltimore. That was just announced. So that trade just happened. But you look at the Colts, you got Minnesota this week, and then you're at home, and you're taking on, who do they got coming up here? Sorry, bear with me. Colts. I know you got Buffalo coming up, so you're at the Vikings, you're home against Buffalo, you're at the Jets. Jets are just god-awful, terrible as well. Then you're home against the Lions, at the Patriots, at the Broncos. Broncos have kind of came to life lately there. And then you're home against the Titans, at the Giants, and then home against the Jags. It's not over, but you're already 2.5 back if you think about it with the 2 sweeps from Houston and then also the tiebreaker with there if you get to it. So division's probably close to looking wrapped even though Houston's got themselves a tough game coming up against Baltimore here. So it's over, but it's not over, if you want to throw it like that. But, yeah, the breaking news, Anthony Richardson benched for Joe Flacco. I don't think it's a shock to any of us. We all saw this coming at some point, just a piss-poor play that he's done. The tap-out maybe has a little to do with it, but I don't think a lot. So we'll see what happens. Jonathan had his show early this morning. He did. It was a great 15, 20-minute show. I want to come on here and just kind of get some quick analysis on the Richardson thing. Listen, Flacco, the offense was better with Flacco. I think everybody, even true Colts fans, can see, hey, Flacco was better out there. Richardson needs time. He needs to sit. There's nothing wrong with sitting. Quarterbacks sit. They develop. They learn. Maybe that's what Anthony Richardson needs. If he doesn't, guess what? You'll find another guy that can come here. Draft class next year looks really well. So it looks great. Shaneer Sanders, one of those as well that's coming in next year. Maybe that's your guy. So join myself and Jonathan Birdsong tomorrow night, Wednesday night, 7 p.m. for Crossroads Sports Radio. We'll be live here on YouTube, on Facebook Live as well, and on the X Machine, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. But until then, we'll see you guys then. Have a great